We're going to show you how to replace a light fixture. This is a kitchen light fixture. Real simple to do. You can do it, and I'm going to show you every single step you need to take, and one or two that are optional, and not going to skip anything so that you're not left wondering about anything like some videos might leave you. So hang in there. So let's get going. So the first thing we need to do is I want to show you the light fixture we're going to replace. It's these bullet looking things, and they're with the house when we bought them. They're attractive, a lot of people like them anyway, but they're not very functional. They're just not real bright, and they only shine light on a little tiny area on our kitchen bar. So these bookers got to go. We're going to replace them with LEDs, which are brighter. I have something similar already somewhere else in the house. So first thing to do is turn the light off and secure the light switch. I do it with tape and even a sign. Don't kill me, bro. And you also, at the same time, you want to make sure you kill the power at the circuit breaker box. Boom, good to go. So these are held in with this, it looks like a decorative flange, but it's not just decorative. Oh, look, hey, what's that? Free cobwebs. All right. Anyway, that's not a decorative flange. It looks like it, but it actually is holding the light fixture in. So when these two screws come out, nothing's going to be holding the light fixture in except for the wiring. So we're going to speed this up because that's kind of boring. Take the screws out and you'll see the whole fixture is going to drop here in a second. So you see that the whole fixture dropped and it's held by the wires. So be ready for that. That's going to be almost any light fixture once you get the mounting screws out. Get that off, and now the professional who installed this didn't want to trim the extra wire off, so it's all crammed up in that junction box. So what I'm doing right now is just inspecting the wiring, looking for any exposed wire, and I got to take the wire nuts off, but I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to pretend like the wires are still hot, kind of like a loaded gun, until I get my voltage tester on there. I'm not going to touch those bare wires because they could be hot still. Trust me, I've been there. I have electrocuted myself. Fortunately, with most, at least in America, 110 is not going to kill you, but I'm standing on a ladder at this point, and it might knock me off the ladder, break my neck, and then, you know, being dead, I'm not really ready for that quite yet. So, carefully taking the wire nuts off. And there's two wires going in here, so this one goes to the switch, and the other wire goes to the to a second light. I'm actually going to replace two lights, but only one going to be in the video. So there's my tester. Going to make sure, first off, you need to make sure you know how to use your tester. I've been using this one for a long time. And so yeah, we're good. No hotness in there. But you see, even when I test it, I'm still gonna, okay, yeah, we shouldn't have any power, but I tap the wire anyway, make sure I'm not about to electrocute myself. I don't want to grab a hot wire and go flying off the step ladder. My wife probably wouldn't like me doing that. So I've taken the wire nuts off. Now I'm just untwisting the wires from each other. And you'll see the whites from both of the wires coming in from the ceiling are going to go together, and the blacks are going to go together, and the bare wire, the ground wire, are going to all go together. That's what I'm going to spread apart here to show you a little bit. So you see all the blacks are to the right of the screen, and the whites are to the left, and you treat all of them like they're hot. I'm not even going to go ahead, I'm not even going to tell you which ones are hot and which ones are not. They're all hot. Treat them all like they're hot. Instructions, don't need that. Here's the mounting hardware, we need that. And this one is nice, comes with some shorter bolts, which I wasn't fond of, but it does come with wire nuts, which is nice. Not a lot of them do that. This was bought at Lowe's. Silica gel, nice snack for someone you hate. And the light fixture itself is two pieces. Something for the bonfire later there. Come on, man, rip it open. Let's see. Okay, so two pieces. There's the main piece. It's an LED light. I don't know if you've ever seen an LED light fixture before, but that's what it looks like. No bulbs. Should last for years. And a glass piece. My other one is plastic, so that's nice. Same brand. Wires are all tangled up in the back. So we're going to untangle the wires here. There we go. And of course there's a black one and a white one and a bare one. And I'm not even going to tell you, they're all hot. I'm not going to tell you which one's hot. They're all hot when you just treat them all like they're hot. There you go. White, black, bare. Alright, we get it. Go install it. So, there's the old mounting hardware mounted to the junction box there in the wall. Got to get rid of that. I'm actually going to keep these bolts because they're longer than the ones that came with my new one, and I like them. I like the longer bolts. Give me a little more option if I need it. In this case I didn't, but anyway. Old stuff gone. Now the new one, and this is going to vary for any light fixture, how this is going to look. And I'm going to test fit it to make sure the holes line up. And sometimes if they don't, you'll have to go buy an adapter of some sort at the hardware store, but usually they'll line up. And now I'm just seeing how deep that mounting piece needs to be because it's adjustable. You'll see that better in a second. So I've made sure the holes fit. Now I'm seeing how deep it needs to be. See that big bolt in the middle that goes up and down that I'm screwing the nut on? That bolt is adjustable, so I need it to come down way down from where it is now. And this is a lot of trial and error, and it's different with every one. So we're going to see how many tries does it take me to get it to where it fits. This is going to vary a lot between different light fixtures. They're all a little different. Just toy with it until you get it in there. Kind of like an erector set. So yeah, that looks like it's going to work. So in with the screws. And here's a little trick. When you get the screws started on one side, you notice there's slots, by the way. They're not holes. You want to go for the slots. If the holes will work, that's great, but slots are a lot faster. I'm not going to tighten that one side all the way down yet. I'm going to get it in there a little bit so it's secure but not tight, because I want to be able to move the bracket, the mounting bracket, around like I'm doing now. See, if I tightened it all the way down, I'd be having to loosen it, so I could do that. And as I put in the other one, I'm going to tell you, I put those wires all on one side for a reason, because later, to make the installation easier, I want to be able to push all those wires completely into that junction box, or as much as possible, because some light fixtures don't have room underneath them for those wires, so you need to be able to cram them up in that junction box. Well, if it was the way they had it, with one wire coming on one side and one on the other, and it forces the wires on the outside of that mounting bracket. Well, the way I have it now, I can cram it all behind that mounting bracket. So I've tightened one all the way. Now I'm going to tighten the first one all the way so they're both good and tight. Feels good. Now we're going to test fit the light fixture again. Get that center bolt nice and tight. We'll cram these back up in here. This is what I was talking about. See, I can cram those all the way in there so the wire is going to be out of the way. I'm going to do that later too. Now we're going to see just how snug I can get this light fixture against that ceiling. In an application like this, where you're not talking about a high humidity area, being perfectly flush mounted is not that necessary. Like if you're doing it in a shower or somewhere outside, you might want to get a real tight, and you want a gasket behind it. But in a kitchen, no big deal. You just want it to look good. So that's not tight. It looks like it is, but aha! I put my finger behind it. So go some more. Now we're snug. Bring it back out. Now that I know I have a good fit. And I won't lie, this actually, I edited it, but I had to adjust that twice to get that to work. Now, this is a gizmo you need to buy right here. When you're trying to get these wires all lined up, the blacks to the blacks, those are kind of hard to get them. You see how the bare wires are there to the left? That's how you want them all to look. This is the gizmo you want. No more using a razor blade to strip wires. Get one of these, send them in the hardware store in the electric department. Go to your local Ace or True Value, get hooked up. Anyway, makes it so much easier to strip wire, and hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm talking about here. Instead of cutting my thumbs like I used to, I just decide exactly how much I need to cut off of there, and boom. Look at that. It's beautiful. Anyway, you want to get the ends of those black wires twisted together as tight as possible, because we need that to all fit into the bottom of a wire nut. Which is why I got a little extra copper showing on the wire from the light fixtures, what you're looking at me working on. So twisting those together, Sorry you can't see through my hands. This is one of the new wire nuts that actually came with the fixture. Now I'm pushing the wires into the wire nut and pushing the wire nut, not just twisting, I'm pushing, shoving them together. And when you get done, you want to pull on the wires a little bit to make sure they're snug in there. That thing needs to have a good grip on that wire. The last thing you want is for when you're trying to push this back together, back up into the junction box, you do not want those to come apart. That's where houses burn down. So same thing here with the whites, blacks to blacks, whites to whites. Don't worry about which one's hot, they're all hot. If you really want to know, you can go online and Google it. I'm not going to tell you. I want you to pretend like you're going to get electrocuted no matter what you touch. You can see those lined up a little better. I didn't have to trim that wire. And again, I'm pushing together. You can see a little bit of the force there. And then with the bare wire, I'll tell you the bare wire obviously is the ground wire. And sometimes there's a wire connecting from the ground to the mounting bracket. But in this case, the junction box is plastic, so it wouldn't do any good anyway. If it's a metal junction box, it might be good to have the ground wire go into that. And, real simple connector. Don't need it in this case. See, I'm pulling on the back of that. Everything's nice and snug. Now here's the trick. Before you go to put all this together, make sure you test that wiring. Make sure it works. So we know it works. Last thing you want to do is put that in there and put it all back together and your light doesn't work because there's something wrong with the wiring. So we've tested it. Now here's the safety thing professionals won't even do sometimes that I insist on doing. Because I've done a lot of remodeling, I've been in a lot of houses where you take a light fixture out and the wire nuts have come off and you have exposed wires in the wall. And how on earth the house doesn't burn down is just an act of God. Praise the Lord. So I take a little electrical tape around the wire and then take it around the nut, and it holds that nut in place because later we're going to be cramming that wire back up in that junction box, and you're just going to put a lot of stress on that nut, and it's going to keep those things from coming apart. See, that's nice and snug now. I'm going to do that with all of them, because when you're cramming it up in that junction box, it puts a lot of stress on the connector you just made, connection you just made, and you don't want it to come apart. And you see my ground wire already came apart. See there? Because it didn't have wiring on it. And you saw me pull on it. That was nice and snug a minute ago. So we'll fix that too. Do the blacks first. And the colors might be different in yours, depending on the age of your house. So there we go. That's nice and snug. Reconnect the copper, and I'm even going to put plastic or tape on that too. So now you're super secure. You're not going to burn down your house now. And I guarantee you, when you take your light fixture apart, you're not going to find tape on those wire nuts. And you're going to find electricians who tell you this is silly. It's not silly. It's smart. Dork. Alright, put the light fixture in there. So, see, this is a very flush mounted light fixture. So now that I can, and I've got it taped, I can cram that in there, not worry about the connections coming apart. Because I'm brilliant. Be brilliant. So you can see, crammed all up in there. Connections held. Nothing's come loose. And since we've already test fit it, we know this fits. We're not going to have to fool with that mounting bracket at all with the wiring in the way now. While you do the test fit before you do the wiring. Gonna get this nut nice and secure. There we go, look good. And all light fixtures are gonna be different. This one has like a kind of a screw-in slotted thing, 3 of those, and they match the 3 pegs in this metal ring. What I like about LEDs is most of the LED light fixtures are dimmable and durable. They last a long time. So lights back on, or power back on of the circuit breaker, We can remove our "Don't Kill Me Bro" sign. We can remove our tape. Flip the switch. What happens? Booyah! Light up the world. And these suckers are bright. I put 2 of them in there. You can see the from the other one still, the other old one's still hanging there. But man, these are bright and they're dimmable. See? So anyway, I hope that helps, and hope that gives you some confidence to do your own. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, and Jesus loves you. Bye.